Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the newly released Toy World Bulldog, based on Bulldog's appearance from Transformers The Last Night. Before I begin the review, I first of all want to say a massive thank you to Show.Z Store for sending this particular product out to me, and links down in the description box below will be provided of their website as well as where you can purchase this figure yourselves. As always, we'll take a quick look at the packaging and then we'll take an extremely detailed look at the figure himself. Taking a look at the box that this figure comes with, as you can see, we've got an awesome piece of artwork of Bulldog in both his robot mode as well as in his tank mode. It states that this particular figure is from the movie series and that he is Bulldog Mark 1 and that he is based on the tanks of World War I. As for the side of the package, we have the same images also carried on with an explosion behind Bulldog in order to make the scene look more dramatic. The back of the box showcases some production images of both the figure in his tank mode as well as in his robot mode, and there are various scanning opportunities situated on the back of the box, including that this figure will not be suitable for anyone under the age of 15. Finally, the top of the box states that this figure is called Bulldog, he is Mark 1 and he is from the tanks of World War I, with a really great looking explosion behind the title text. Now, turning to how well the figure is actually packaged, as you can see there are multiple layers of different sections of this particular box. The first piece that you'll pull out will be this Diorama Setting. This is mainly due for tank mode and is a really nice inclusion, as Toy World didn't have to include this. Personally, I do tend to just disregard this as I never have Bulldog displayed in his tank mode, and for robot mode it's too small, but there is some really nice detailing here and the weathering effect on this piece is really well done. It almost looks as if though they've taken ideas and cues from 3A's weathering technique, as this accessory here looks extremely weathered and realistic. Before getting to the product itself, you are witness to the set of instructions that the product comes with, and here is really interesting as you have all of the new products that Toy World are going to be creating, including a triple changer shatter, a movie Bumblebee Optimus Prime, as well as a triple changing dropkick. All three of these releases sound incredible, and we've actually got images of Optimus Prime, aka the Freedom Leader, and I must say that figure definitely looks masterpiece quality. As for instructions themselves, they are quite vague and they're not as detailed as I perhaps would have liked them to have been. However, if you do use common knowledge, you will sail through the transformation fairly easily, as the transformation process is actually quite simplistic. After taking the instructions out, you are witness to multiple layers of foam, and once again this is a cue from 3A, and it's fantastic to see Toy World taking this extra level of care when packaging their figures, as Bulldog is a figure that could definitely be damaged in transit if not packaged correctly. As you can see, we've got a really clear display of the figure in his tank mode, as well as a display of all of the figure's accessories precisely inserted into the foam, and I must say that this type of presentation definitely gives a very premium feel to Toy World's products. And turning to a bonus product I almost disregarded as extra packaging, here we have this box here. Now initially I had no idea whatsoever of what this was. It is just a plain black box with a sticker on the front of it. It wasn't until I actually opened it that I realised that this is actually a Build-A-Figure piece to Toy World's upcoming Starscream. I really do wish that they had provided more details, as there is no mention of this whatsoever in the instructions, so for those of you who are just mainly looking for the figure, you could actually potentially disregard this as trash and just throw it in the bin. Nevertheless, the piece that Bulldog comes with is in fact one of Starscream's arms, and this too has been detailed to the same level of quality as Bulldog, which makes me extremely anticipate when this figure will eventually be completed. I'm not entirely sure what different body parts come with different figures, as once again, as I stated, I didn't even know that this particular piece would come with this product, but nevertheless I will definitely be researching more into this and will hope to complete this, as this is apparently going to be a World War II/World War I fighter jet Starscream based on his appearance from a flashback scene in Transformers The Last Night. And here I have the Toy World Bulldog opened up and out of his packaging, and as he comes packaged in his tank mode. Now as you can clearly see, I do in fact have the figure displayed on the included wall/floor diorama, as tank mode is definitely the mode that I think this diorama suits best. Personally, I don't think that the execution is necessarily really well done, as there is no surrounding walls around the tank or behind the tank, so it really does look as if though the figure is literally just standing on a slab of plastic. But taking a closer look at the figure in his tank mode, this is an amazing piece by Toy World. This is my first time ever purchasing a Toy World product, and I must say I'm extremely happy. This particular product looks amazing in both tank mode and robot mode. The level of detail, as you can see, is just absolutely astronomical for a figure of this size. Roughly in tank mode, he is more of a deluxe scale, just to give you a sense of how big he is, and as you can see, I really think the weathering detail is incredible. It really does look very realistic and almost looks like a small miniature tank. As you can see, there is really truly no robot kibble evident in any of the different areas of the figure whatsoever. We've got all the different turrets of the figure looking really awesome, and he definitely looks very faithful to what we see in Transformers The Last Night. Some smaller details such as the E75 Bulldog emblem can be seen, and it has been printed impeccably well. We've got all of the different nuts and bolts, and some of the turrets are actually articulated on ball joints, which allows for a different display option. The paintwork on the turrets themselves is also incredible. They look really rusty and very dilapidated, as if though this is an extremely weathered World War II tank. Just to give you a sense of scale of the figure, here is the only other World War II inspired figure I have from Transformers The Last Night, that being the Deluxe Class Studio Series World War II Bumblebee. Now, as you can see, Bumblebee would definitely be a significantly smaller vehicle, so I don't necessarily think the scale in vehicle mode works as well as it does in robot mode. It does state on the package that this is part of Toy World's movie series, and it has been mentioned that these figures are intended to scale with Studio Series, so I definitely do think, much like Studio Series, they are designed to scale in their robot modes. Personally, the inaccurate scale in the vehicle mode definitely doesn't bother me whatsoever, as we never see Bulldog in Transformers The Last Night actually rolling out with the rest of the Autobots. He's only in tank mode for a split second as well as in robot mode, so this really isn't necessarily something that bugs me too much. However, for scale fanatics out there, just to let you know that this figure does not scale with Studio Series figures, at least in tank mode. So I do believe that just about covers everything in Bulldog's tank mode. If I haven't already mentioned, this particular figure looks astounding in this mode. Although the treads are in fact fake and that they are plastic, that is of course to help aid transformation. The weathering detailing on this figure is incredible, and I really like some of the subtle detailing such as the E75 Bulldog emblem. If I had one small criticism, it is that I wish that perhaps the tank mode was ever so slightly larger. However, this figure is very compact, as you will see when I get into the transformation segment, and considering robot mode is actually to scale really well with the other figures, I'm not necessarily one to complain. Turning now to the figure's transformation, it is actually fairly simplistic. The first step you're going to want to do is just untab this tread section just like so. Repeat the same process on the opposite side. The next step you'll want to do is pull this inner section out just like so. This helps to aid clearance when transforming the rest of the figure. Repeat the same process on the opposite side, so just hinge it out just like so, and then you'll want to lift the center turret up. Be gentle with this as you don't want to snap the turret. This will loosen two tabs which will actually allow you to separate the legs. As you can see where this slight split is, you're going to want to pull outwards and pull down on the figure just like that, and repeat the same process on the opposite side. Now you're going to want to take this whole side piece up to the seam and essentially pull it away from one another, allowing you to free up the joints so that you can begin really transforming the figure's legs. These are extremely stiff joints, however they will in fact hinge, and once you have prized them ever so slightly apart, this will allow clearance for you to actually elongate the main legs of the figure. Repeat the same process on the opposite side, just straighten these sections out. Turning our attention to the lower part of the figure's legs, as you can see here there is a slight tab that will actually plug into a tab on the inner side of the figure's leg. You're going to want to flip this all the way over on a ball joint and collapse itself upon itself in order to make the design look fairly sleek. Repeat the same process on the opposite side, so rotate this section via the ball joint, collapse it inwards and tab the tab inside the slot on this section. Turn your attention to now the back of the figure, and as you can see here you're going to want to lift the legs up all the way and hinge them out on these double joints just to help aid clearance. You're then going to want to collapse this section of the tread inwards, trying to avoid all obstacles. You're going to want to hinge them out on the opposite side as well, collapse the tread section down and tab it into place, and there are the top of the legs in their proper configuration. We then want to rotate the waist all the way around now, so that the front of the figure is now facing where the treads slope downwards. What you'll now want to do is take this crutch flap here and just essentially rotate it all the way down until it tabs into its new positioning. This just helps to create new detailing for the robot mode. We can then flip this section of the tread downwards like so. It's not tabbed in, so it's extremely easy just to rotate, and once this is done we can begin unhinging and rotating various hinges up, just like you can see here. Repeat the same process on the opposite side, bend the double joints and then rotate them up just like so, and then we're going to turn our attention to the interior of the foot. You're going to want to fold this section out just like so, and then this piece here will actually swivel out, helping to support the top section of the tread. We can then replace the tread over the new foot section, and then you're actually going to want to repeat the exact same process on the opposite side. Once this is done, you're then going to want to align the treads appropriately into their final configurations. Rotate this die-cast section out just like so, and this will actually tab into a peg that is situated on the heel spur of Bulldog. This will ultimately lock the foot into positioning and will help to aid the figure's stability. You're going to want to repeat the exact same process on the opposite side, ensuring that they are tabbed in extremely securely, as this recreates an extremely stable surface for the figure to stand on. Taking advantage of the various hinge joints in the legs, you're actually going to want to give the figure his more movie accurate looking chicken leg design, and this can be accomplished extremely easily just by squatting the figure down. This makes the figure look extremely old and dilapidated, much like we saw in the Last Night movie. With the torso and the legs now completely finished, we can now begin working on the arm sections of Bulldog. Turning now to the back of the figure, as you can see, these green tabs are actually what holds the entire back section of the figure in. Essentially what you're going to want to do is pull this section away from the body, flip it and pull the arms out. There is a groove at the top of it, however these are extremely difficult to get your fingernail into, so I would really recommend taking extreme caution, as you don't want to cause harm to yourself nor unnecessary harm to the figure. You're going to want to pry them, however applying enough force, and once this is done this will actually showcase all of the arms which are compact within the figure's torso. Taking a look at this back section, there is actually a hinge joint which is on a swivel, and you're going to want to rotate it around now so that the treads are actually going to compress inwards. Rotate this all the way around just like so, however you do have to be careful as there is a lot of restrictions and there are a lot of obstacles that may cause some clearance issues, so I would really take extra caution and not necessarily pry this apart. You just have to ever so gently just maneuver the back sections away from the torso of the robot mode. These tabs will eventually plug into the back of the figure once again. Turning our attention now to the arms, these two are quite difficult to get out and there is no necessarily right or wrong way to do it. You just have to use the multiple ball joints and swivels in order to pull them out. I recommend just wiggling the top section where the turrets are, as that will hopefully loosen up the main joints where the arms are, and then you'll be able to fold them out. This is quite a tedious process, however there is a slight knack to how you do it. I seem to think that if you push inwards and then pull out, it tends to help free up the arms a lot easier than just pulling them out and prying them. Once this is done now, as you can see, you're going to want to rotate the front turret into its brand new positioning. This will help to ultimately fill out the torso section, and then we can actually collapse the back section. As you can see, these two tabs will plug onto two slots on either side of the treads, so just align them appropriately and collapse them into place. Once this is done, there are two flaps on the back section of Bulldog that you're going to want to collapse upon themselves, and then just rotate them up via this hinge joint in whatever positioning you so choose. Once this is done, you're going to want to flap these inner torso section pieces up just to fill out the torso and prevent any hollowness with the figure, and this is a great use of engineering and a great use of the extra additional parts. What you'll then want to do is now essentially straighten out the arms, so just fold out the hands on the hinge joints and rotate them in whatever way you so choose. This is my preferred look for Bulldog's arms, however there are multiple different ways of which you can display them. Once the arms are straightened out, we can now turn our attention to these turret sections. You're then going to want to swivel these down just like so, and this kind of creates shoulder armor and gives us that more movie accurate look that we saw Bulldog obtain in the Last Night movie. Once this is complete, we have the transformation now fully completed, and here we have Bulldog in his very awesome, very movie accurate looking robot mode. The robot mode really showcases how well engineered this product is. Although the transformation is not as complex as something like Unique Toys La Hire or Peru Kill, it still is extremely effective, and all of the pieces have a massive contribution to the robot mode as well as the tank mode. From all angles, this figure looks absolutely fantastic, and if I hadn't have told you so, you probably wouldn't know if this figure could transform or not. That's how well done this product is. Accompanied by some amazing paint deco, this figure is probably in the top ranking for the best figures of 2019. Starting off with details, the head sculpt is an absolutely perfect recreation of how Bulldog appeared in the Last Night. We've even got some subtle detailing such as the monocle and the chain that is obviously protruding from down beneath the neck section. You've got Bulldog's moustache, the eyes have been painted incredibly well, the paint apps on this figure are incredible. As you can see, he does have his cap on. There is an alternative cap which I'll showcase later in the accessory segment, but as for the torso detailing, there is so much mechanical detailing and different various paint apps that this figure really looks very realistic. As you can see, there's various nuts and bolts situated all over the figure, including some springs and different pistons and cogs. All of it comes together for a very complex looking design, and considering the chest is actually all one piece, it is incredible of how well they've actually designed and detailed the figure. As you can see on the shoulders, you've got the turrets, and you can also make out the E23 Bulldog emblem once again. The arms too have been detailed incredibly well. Although there is no piston detailing, there is still some nice surface detailing, and the weathered effect is present throughout the entirety of the figure. There is no section which has gone unpainted. All of the figure really looks very premium, and when you turn down to the tread sections, this is where the paint apps really shine for me, as the treads have been detailed and sculpted incredibly well, and I really like the metallic wash that they've put over the top of them in order to make them appear really dusty and really weathered. The sides of the figure too are also incredibly detailed, and I'm actually a massive fan of the back of the figure as well, as they've even gone to the additional length of actually including some sculpted in surface detailing in order to make this figure look visually appealing from all angles. As you can see, just above the knee section there is some more cogs and gears, and even the foot of Bulldog has been detailed incredibly well. The figure is also incredibly put together. I thought Bulldog's design in the last night was amazing, and Toy World have done a fantastic job in capturing his design and formulating it into plastic form. Turning now to the figure's articulation, the head is in fact on a ball joint, so can look up to a fantastic degree, making Bulldog look all the way up. However, due to tight clearance issues, it cannot tilt side to side. There is a rotation joint for left and right, and if you rotate the figure's head upwards, this does allow for a greater range of motion. Turning now to the arms, there are in fact two hinge joints which allow you to lift the arms up and down. I mainly use these in order to make the figure look more hunched and dilapidated like the CG render. Their arms are also got a full 360 degree ball joint, so can rotate all the way backwards, and due to the ball joint's positioning, it isn't hindered by the turrets. There is also a hinge joint mainly due to transformation just above the elbow in order for you to swing the arms forwards and backwards. Their elbows have actually got double joints. There is a hinge joint as well as a ball joint, and utilising both of the joints will in fact allow you to get a well over 90 degree bend at the elbow. However, Bulldog doesn't strike me as the most agile character. There is a full 360 degree rotation at the elbow section due to the ball joint, and there is a hinge joint just where the hands are due to transformation, so you can hinge the hands forwards and backwards. You can also open the palm of Bulldog's hands just like so in order to make the hands appear more relaxed. Due to transformation, Bulldog does in fact have a 360 degree waist articulation joint. It's very stiff, however helps aid in posing the figure into more dynamic poses. Also, due to transformation, there are these hinge joints allowing you to move the hips forwards and backwards, and there's also a swivel joint allowing you to lift the leg forwards and backwards. However, due to the obscure design, they don't kick out and as far as I wish they could. Due to all the various joints, you can in fact kick the figure's knees forwards, and there are multiple joints at the ankles allowing you to tilt the foot forwards and backwards, as well as get a great degree of ankle rocker pivot. So therefore, for articulation, the figure is overall extremely impressive. Turning now to accessories, Bulldog does in fact come with a bomber hat. This is a great inclusion as it does help to spice up the posing varieties and just give Bulldog a different look. This has got some great painted and weathering effect over the top, and there is also a groove in order to help aid you place it onto the figure's head. And switching out the hats is extremely effective. You simply pull the old one off and just reinsert it via the tab and the peg that's situated on the head, and just switching out the hats really gives the figure a very different look and adds more personality to the overall look of Bulldog's figure. Turning now to another accessory, Bulldog does in fact include a clip-on mask. I don't necessarily want to say that this is a gas mask, as the alternate head that he also comes with looks more like a gas mask, so I'm going to say that this is more like a face shield. As you can see, this too has been sculpted and detailed incredibly well, and once again has some amazing weathering effect. This too can be applied onto the figure extremely easily. It literally just clip onto the face, and it really does give a very different look for Bulldog's figure. You can insert all the hats, however the lieutenant hat that the figure comes packaged on doesn't tab in, as well as the bomber hat, so if you are going to display the figure with this faceplate, I definitely recommend using the bomber hat on this figure. And turning to the final accessory, here is a completely alternate head for Bulldog. Now this is definitely what I call the gas mask head. As you can see, it does have the breathing apparatus at the front, which is very reminiscent of a gas mask that was seen in World 1 and 2. This is plugged on extremely easily. As you can see, it does have a massive ball peg on the back of it, and switching the heads out is fairly simplistic. I tend to lift the head all the way up and literally just pop it off the ball joint just like so. The peg is quite sturdy, so I don't necessarily think it will break extremely easily, so you can apply reasonable force to switch them out. Once the head is on, I definitely think that it creates a very different look for the figure, and despite him not including any of these accessories in the movie, it is great that Toy World has included these alternate accessories in order to give us some different display options for a very fun and uniquely designed character. For a quick size comparison, here is Bulldog compared next to the Voyager Optimus Prime as well as Deluxe Studio Series Bumblebee. Personally, I think he scales great with these figures. As you can see, he's more in the Voyager class scale, which he really should be, and despite him being a similar size to Deluxe Bumblebee in alt form, he definitely towers over him in robot mode, much like he would have done in the movie. But that is my review on the newly released Toy World Bulldog. Once again, I want to say a massive thank you to Show.Z Store for sending this particular product out for me for a review, and there will be links down in the description box below of where you can pick this figure up, as well as their website, and as well as a link to the brand new Wei Zhang Black Apple Optimus Prime, which I must say definitely looks incredible. Getting back to this figure absolutely blew my mind. This is a fantastic release, and I must say that third-party companies are definitely upping their game when it comes to movie figures, as some of these figures are even better than the mass-retailed releases from official distributors such as Hasbro. Bulldog is a character that we haven't yet seen a figure of, and I think Toy World have done a great thing by taking this character and giving him a toy form. He's a very fun-looking design, and the multiple of accessories really does help to make him a very fun figure to have. I really enjoy the transformation, and I think that the weathering effect on this figure is incredible and really presents itself as a very premium figure. I love the fact that it actually comes with a Build-A-Figure piece, as it keeps you anticipating some of Toy World's future releases, which by the way all look incredible, and you'll actually be able to build a World War I or World War II Starscream, which I personally can't wait to collect. I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you did, please let me know down in the comment section below. Be sure to check out all of the links down in the description box below for Show.Z Store. And until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.